Good afternoon. I'm Heidi Connect in the TV6 newsroom with your on-the-go headlines for Tuesday, March 4th. In just a matter of hours, President Donald Trump will deliver his first address to Congress since retaking the White House. He's expected to detail his whirlwind first 6 weeks in office, as well as make the case for his sweeping domestic and foreign policy plans. Elected leaders will be bringing guests, and many will use this opportunity to invite people to emphasize their support or opposition of a president's policies. Republican U.S. Senator Joni Ernst from Iowa will host Scott Root, whose daughter Sarah was killed in 2016 by an illegal immigrant driving drunk. Ernst says that under President Trump, our nation will no longer prioritize illegal immigrants over Americans. Republican U.S. Representative Marionette Miller Meeks from Iowa will host women's sports advocate Riley Gaines. Gaines became a national advocate after competing against a biological male in the 2022 NCAA Women's Swimming Championships. Miller Meeks said Gaines, quote, refused to be silenced, standing strong for truth, equal opportunity, and the rights of female athletes across the country, end quote. Democrat U.S. Representative Eric Sorensen from Illinois invited James Diaz, a disabled veteran who served overseas during the Gulf conflicts of the 80s and 90s. Diaz lost his job as a fuel compliance officer with the IRS field office in Galesburg. Diaz said his firing was disrespectful and that he wants to bring attention to how military veterans are being treated, especially when it comes to the way terminations are handled. U.S. Senator Tammy Duckworth, a Democrat from Illinois, invited the executive director of the Illinois Head Start Association. Duckworth said Trump's funding freeze is hurting the same middle-class families he swore he'd protect by jeopardizing the Head Start programs. Democrat U.S. Senator Dick Durbin from Illinois will host a pediatric oncologist and researcher from Chicago Hospital. Durbin said Trump and Elon Musk's moves to gut funding for the National Institutes of Health will have disastrous long-term impacts on Americans suffering from cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and more. And in the Quad Cities, opening statements began today for Christopher B. Hall, the man accused of killing his girlfriend last year in Parkview, Iowa. Prosecutors filed a motion to proceed with 2 charges, first-degree murder and domestic abuse assault with intent to inflict serious injury. If convicted of first-degree murder, the 31-year-old B. Hall faces a mandatory life sentence. Deputies say B. Hall killed his 31-year-old girlfriend, Taylor S. Contreras, in the Parkview apartment they shared. B. Hall pleaded not guilty in April. The trial is expected to last about 10 days. A woman is sentenced on the 2023 homicide of a 17-year-old Danny Taylor of Milan. Tatiana Taylor, who was 19 at the time of the crime, was sentenced to 9 years in prison with 2 years of mandatory supervised release. Documents say Taylor knowingly directed Napoleon Jackson and another teen to Danny Taylor's home with instructions on how to access it with the intent of committing a home invasion. Court records say Jackson pleaded guilty to home invasion last month. The mother accused of lying to police about her daughter being abducted in Rock Island has waived her preliminary hearing. Princess Ilunga pleaded not guilty today at the Rock Island County Courthouse. She is charged with filing a false report of an offense after she told 911 dispatcher her 4-year-old daughter was in a running vehicle that was stolen out of her driveway. Police said she was never missing and was in her home the whole time during a 9.5-hour search. A pretrial conference for Ilunga is set for April 3rd. Now we'll look at weather in the Quad Cities area. Get ready for a lot of weather in a short amount of time. From showers and a few thunderstorms Tuesday night, with rain that could tally up to 1 to 2+ inches, we'll get a quick shot of wet snow early Wednesday that could accumulate up to an inch or so in a few spots. The rain could cause some localized flooding, and the wet snow could cause slick roads for the Wednesday morning commute, although it will already be melting by Wednesday afternoon. We'll also be seeing blustery conditions Wednesday with gusts topping off between 50 and 60 miles per hour. As the snow flies early Wednesday, we could see lowered visibility. After our break Thursday, another band of rain and wet snow is possible early Friday. Stay up to date with the weather team by downloading the KWQC First Alert weather app. That wraps up your on-the-go headlines for Tuesday, March 4th. In the TV6 newsroom, I'm Heidi Connect.